Are you recording? Okay, we're recording. Okay.
Hey, Kyla.
Hi, Farouz. How are you?
Thank you. How are you? I'm
I'm
so happy.
I'm good. I'm good. We're cold here in Chicago.
Oh my
Very,
God.
very cold.
Is it snowy? And
They said we could get a little bit of snow today, but we haven't had some for a while. We've only had one good snowstorm, and the kids want more because they want to go outside and go sledding.
but I miss snow actually. I moved from Turkey to Petaluma, San Francisco, North California. So we don't have any snow here, but in the town, my hometown has always snow, and snow has a different vibe. I don't know what, but it makes everything clean and it also cleans you. So,
Yeah, yeah, I know that we didn't have any for Christmas this year for the holidays.
oh,
And
really?
yeah, no, we had none. And in fact, on Christmas Day, it was like 60 degrees here, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we were just like, it doesn't feel like Christmas right now. But now it
Oh.
does because it's at least covering the ground.
Oh, that's so nice. And I'm so happy that you come and visit be a guest for my interview. Really, it's a privilege and great joy for me. So I would like to introduce you to our listeners because that would be lovely. Kyla is an interior designer and content creator based in Chicago. She shares daily doses of home decor, corners of her home, interior styling tips, and will inspire you to do it yourself. Yes, I checked out your videos and you are doing great.
Thank you.
So Kyla sits on the Design Influencers Board of Directors and was hired by TikTok to become a creative learning partner. Her eclectic home decor style has been and featured in Furniture, Lighting, and Decor magazine, Yahoo News, Southern Living, and Exhibit A as one of to watch in the home decor niche. What can I say? Kyla, when did you do all this stuff? It's just amazing.
It's been a long, wild ride.
Yeah.
I started my blog back in probably late fall of 2013. So I'm kind of an OG blogger, but not OG with some of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of in the older group of bloggers. And
Oh.
it was just starting out as a hobby.
Yeah. That's so interesting because it's hard. Hobby is you emotionally connected with something, but sometimes translating into a business is a problem
Yeah.
because the business objectives and yeah, fundamentals are different. The hobby is just your time that you enjoy spending, and combining both of them is a great um, combination. So, how did you do this?
Well, I was working in marketing at an ad agency down in the city in Chicago, and I was their creative director. And I was working on campaigns for Mercedes Benz and Virgin Atlantic and Bank of America and Weight Watchers, and but it's really hard to do that when you live in the suburbs and you have two children and you're taking a train downtown and then taking a train back. And I mean, in marketing, it's long
Yeah.
hours when you have a deadline. So it was difficult. And when I had my daughter, my second child, she she was a rough baby.
Oh.
She's wonderful now, but she was a stinker. And yeah, there was just one day where I just had it, and my husband's like, "You need to get yourself a hobby." And I'm like, "What am I supposed to do? Play tennis with this thing?" Like,
Oh.
you can't do that.
Oh.
So we had just moved into our house at the time, not this one, but a previous one. And we just said, okay, I said, okay, I'm going to start documenting it. Cause you know, you can only put so many photos of your kids on,
Yeah.
Facebook before people are like, yeah, we don't care anymore. So it was something to keep me occupied, yet kind of a creative outlet that was my own, that wasn't within brand standards, within a specific fonts and within specific colors and everything that you have to do when you're working at an ad agency. So yeah, I went back home, or I went back to work, and things were fine. But fast forward to 2017, and we had lost a few clients, and it was a very small, like little boutique agency. And now there's so many times, do you know, when you have a bigger client and they come in and they say, okay, you need to be on the preferred vendor list, and there's all the hoops and stuff that you have to jump through
Oh,
for security and all that other stuff. Being a very small company, that was not easy for us to do, and it took a while longer. So we lost a few clients on that. And when we lost a few clients, I got laid off. And my boss literally walked into my office, and I was like expecting this for 3 years, right? So I was like counting down the days waiting for it to happen, because I'm like, okay, they could take my workhorse designer, would be really dumb, or they could take my production artist, which he's cheap. So why would they take either of those? You're going to take me. I'm fully expecting it.
yeah.
And yeah, my boss walked into my office after lunch, and he's like, hey, Kyla. And I'm like, are you laying me off? He goes, I am. I'm like, yes.
I've been waiting for this moment.
And he was like, if I knew it was going to be that long, I literally would have laid you off like 3 years ago. Or be this easy, not this long, but this easy. Like, I would have laid you off long ago. He's like,
Oh my God. Oh.
but yeah, I came home and I texted my husband. I'm like, so I'm no longer employed by the agency. I'm employed by House of Hipsters. And he was like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am.
Yes, it's time.
Yeah, because I mean, he didn't see how much work I had been turning away and saying, I cannot work with you. I don't have time for this. So, and I say that meaning brands are coming to me basically wanting to, how I like to say it now is like they purchase ad space either in my blog or on a TikTok, or, it's almost like a small media company is what House of Hipsters is morphed into.
Yeah.
And they purchased like an ad space like you would for a House Beautiful or a Better Homes and Gardens magazine. And I was just like, I can't do this for you right now. I can't hit your deadlines that you want me to, but now I can.
Wow. I mean, that's such sometimes it's a roller coaster, but there's always when you have or feel desperate or, without a solution, then something comes up, which you didn't see it that way, but then it just, becomes the Pandora's box opens, but it is with good things. And I believe that because there's always, life is always a roller coaster. There's good and there's bad, or it's just a combination of all of that. And when I checked your videos, I really enjoyed looking at your design and your way of creating the environment, the space. It's just full of, it gives me peace, and it's not cluttered. It is always surprising little details all around, which I really enjoy. So I must say you are a phenomenon on TikTok with 350,000 followers. It is mind-boggling. I mean, and TikTok hired you to become a creative learning partner. What was your journey like in reaching out that huge number of followers?
It's kind of strange. So in the beginning, after I got laid off, I started working freelance because it takes a while to ramp up for these
Of
campaigns.
course. Yeah.
So, and get everything kind of all situated and straightened out and get a business up and going. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take on a little bit of freelance. And I started doing social media for a local popcorn company.
Uh-huh.
And while I was doing that, growing on Instagram had become so difficult. And, I really wanted them to succeed. And I started looking at this new platform called TikTok. And so this was back in early 2019, mid 2019 is when I started looking at it for them, not for me. And I told my direct report, my boss, and I said, I think this might be good for you guys. And he's like, well, go ahead and check it out. I'm like, okay. And I was like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, because at the time it was still all the dances and kind of scantily clad, 14-year-old girls and boys. And I'm going, how am I going to make this work? And I couldn't find any brands on it. And I was like, that's really strange.
Wow.
And I started looking at the hashtags, and the hashtags were all like, if I looked at home decor, there was 5,000 videos that were hashtagged home decor. And if you go on Instagram, there's hundreds of thousands and millions, of photos and videos that are hashtagged that. I'm like, this is some seriously low hanging fruit for a brand right now. But is this the audience that we want to get into? My marketing brain is still, even though I'm
Of
in
course.
this world, it's the marketing brain never shuts off. It's what's the
No.
ROI going to be, right?
Yes.
So I just kind of started playing around with it. And then we decided not to, but I started playing around with it with House of Hipsters, which is exactly what I had done at the ad agency. When I had come back from my maternity leave, we had hired a social media girl who was our intern at the time. And she starts telling me, this is back in 2012, so a long time ago, not that long, but long in technology times.
Yeah.
And she's going, we need a Facebook page, we need this, we need a Twitter, we need this. I'm going, why on earth would a brand need a Facebook page? That's where people just go and brag about,
Yeah.
their vacations or their car or something, in their life. And why would a company need that? Well, fast forward to now, I totally get that. So I had taken House of Hipsters because we didn't have any social media clients at the time. I said, I'm going to make this my kind of test client. So I started testing things out. What she was kind of telling me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach myself what you're kind of telling me. I'm going to do the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of grew that way. And I did the same thing then with TikTok. Is I said, okay, we're not going to go down this road, but I still feel really strongly that it's a good platform and that it's going to stick around, unlike the periscopes and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I just started, I'm like this 40-year-old mom with a bunch of, 15-year-old kids dancing, going, I can do this. I'm just not going to tell anybody I'm doing this. But the reach was pretty amazing. So you could see kind of, I posted just a random video and hashtagged it on their little dance challenges and stuff and said, I'm doing this. And they were nice. Some of them were like, I can see your hands, or, I can see you're doing it wrong. And they're like, well, at least you tried. So very accepting platform. And even though it was young, it was very accepting and very nice. And I said, I'm just going to keep doing it. And then the pandemic hit and I was no longer freelancing. And I said, I'm all in on TikTok. It's the only thing that I'm seeing growth on compared to Instagram.
Other platforms, yeah.
And I was really amazed at what these kids could do with an iPhone camera. Like the transitions and the editing. And I was so amazed at the creativity that was coming out of the platform itself. And I just went all in. I said, okay, I have nothing else to do now. No one has a budget for social media. I had started, I was a feature designer for the One Room Challenge.
Uh-huh.
And it's this big, home decor thing where all these influencers or content creators or anyone really is challenged to make over a room in 7 weeks, 8 weeks
Uh-huh.
from like start to finish. So I was one of the featured designers with Better Homes and Gardens. And I said, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to do this and I'm going to put it on my TikTok. See what happens. I'm the only home decor person that I can really find out there. Let's do this. Low hanging.
Yeah.
Grew from basically zero to about, I want to say maybe like 50,000. So that was from like March, April to September. And then I
Wow.
kind of hit this weird plateau. But I was trying to figure out, okay, do I like do a weird dance or a lip sync or something in a room so people can see home decor around me? It took a while to figure out the platform because it's a weird one. And during that time, TikTok reached out and said, or their agency reached out and said, hey, we're doing this thing where we're trying to change the platform from dancing to teaching moments, short, bite-sized teaching moments. And it's called the Creative Learning Partnership.
Oh.
So yeah, they said, would you like to be on this campaign? And I was in. So I signed a contract and it was 40 videos in 60 days, I think it was.
Wow.
It was a lot. It
Yeah,
was a lot.
I mean, video, and especially for TikTok, and trying to reach out the Gen Z and millennials. Yes, we have, and you're a millennial.
Yeah, well,
So
I'm a Gen Xer.
yeah.
So I'm a Gen Xer. I'm 47.
Oh my God, I didn't see that. No
Yeah.
way. No
Yeah.
way.
I am 47 and I am a TikToker.
But that's the beauty of it. You found a different formula. And I think this is how you discovered. I mean, it's an innovation in a way for creating videos. When you look at, in so many TikTok videos, they were either dancing or funny stuff, or you know what I mean. I mean, this is a completely different environment. And then you created an environment which you can teach, how to do stuff as a woman by yourself in your house, because woman doesn't like to have anything, screw or any. I see that the Victoria's set, and what you by using it, what you have done. That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's a skill set, and also it's teaching people how to do what to do, and you're showing that it's not difficult. You can do that.
No, anyone can do it. And all you need is an iPhone. Like that's really all you need. Um, it's just finding what works for you
Yeah.
because no one wanted to see a 47-year-old mom dancing, no matter how cool the room was. Like no one wanted to see that. Like, okay, we're going to do these little teaching moments. And I think it was really that partnership that really turned the tables and really made me see how TikTok works as a platform. And I did one where I said, hey, I did one video because they were like, try to keep it under 15 seconds, like 12 seconds, 13 seconds. That's your sweet spot. And I was like, okay. And they taught you how to read the analytics and things like that. And they just said, okay, go. There was nothing more to it. And there was no like, you weren't pushed out on the algorithm anymore because you were part of it. It was just,
Yeah.
if you follow these rules, you should be able to find an audience, we think.
Yeah.
I think they were using us as a test too, to say, is this really going to work? Can we change the platform?
Yeah. In so many respects, when a big company like TikTok or Google, they just throw something out and they test it. And while testing it, of course, they do not say it is a test. They say it's a product. But I mean, but you found the sweet spot for yourself and how to reach out to people in TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's a very creative process. It's
Yeah.
really a unique language in
It is.
communicating.
It's like you have to understand what each platform wants from itself.
Yes.
And I know that's one thing we were going to touch on. Maybe this is a good time to go into that. But TikTok is
Go
for this
ahead.
learning thing. They don't want to be shown beautiful stuff. They want to know how to do it. And they want to make sure that it's easy to do. It can't be anything too hard or too crazy, especially if they're just beginning. So if you can show them how to do and it has to be more than just, this is how you style a shelf. I recently posted, hey, if you want to know how to have the proper size lamp for your ceiling in a room, all you have to do is measure the width and the depth, add it together. That number is your diameter.
That's
And
so simple.
it's really simple, bite-sized, small things. When I was showing the full makeover process of the one room challenge for it's actually this room that I did. People were kind of like, okay, but where do I get all this stuff? And how do I do it myself? And how do I do the wallpaper? And did you do the grout yourself? And how did you know that you wanted to do this? Like, they were nitpicking all these little things from it. And I'm like going, okay, you don't want to see the prettiness, which is Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram is very beautiful and
sleek and
showy.
established.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's funny, during the pandemic, there were lots of TikToks that came out that said, Twitter is just for the news, and then
Yes.
Facebook is for the complaining or showing off, whatever. And then Instagram is for the, I am living my lush life and blah, blah, blah. And then
I'm
TikTok is
beautiful.
TikTok is I'm here in my robe and I'm ready to have a bottle of champagne and party.
24 hours partying. I mean,
Yes.
24 hours beauty. And I know. I just, I can't do that.
Yeah. No, and it just kind of I'm like, yeah, these are my people here. But yeah, there was one day where I said, okay, I'm going to just do an introduction, since there were a few new people that kind of started following me. And I said, hey, I'm Kyla and I write a blog called The House of Hipsters. And now I'm here on TikTok teaching you, the ins and outs of home decor.
Yeah.
And that video got, I want to say, over 3 million views. And within 2 days, I had 200,000 new followers.
Oh my God, that's
frightening.
I can't even guess what will you do in the future. Maybe 1 million followers. You never know.
It's gotten more difficult to grow. You don't have that happen as much anymore. But man, during this time of sorry, my phone is ringing. Turning that off. During that time of 2020 to early 2021, there was this time where you could literally post something, and if you connected with an audience, the organic reach was just amazing. And I kept holding a sign up to my friends. I'm like, this is your sign to get on TikTok right now. And they're like, well, we don't get it. We don't do this. And I'm like, do you remember when everybody said get on Instagram and everybody was holding a sign and you fought it? I'm like, this is that time. I'm like, this is the platform to be on right now, because you can actually have this crossover where people are coming and following me here, but then they're also following me on Instagram, and they're also coming to my blog. They're going their places, unlike any other platform out there.
Yeah, I mean, totally. So I checked out also your Instagram followers and Pinterest. They were all thousands and thousands of 10,000s of people. I mean, Instagram is 91,000 and Pinterest is 200,000. That's another big venue, actually. And I know that you love Pinterest.
I do.
Yeah. So what do you think about Pinterest and how did you do that?
So I actually used SEO for that.
Uh-huh.
Pinterest is basically a visual search engine. And I have this weird love-hate relationship with Pinterest, especially right now. So it used to be my before TikTok was my baby, like Pinterest was my baby.
Yes, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So I actually I was sitting in my old house. I had started blogging and it was probably like 2015. And I got an email from Nikki at Pinterest.com.
Uh-huh.
And it said, "Hi, my name is Nikki. I work at Pinterest. We're starting this new department and we're going to be helping brands make pins. And I love your design work and how you do your pins. So do you want to come work for us?" And I went,
What?
"Are you?" I'm like, this is a friend punking me. Like, I was like, yeah, whatever, Nikki from Pinterest. Delete. And I'm telling my husband this, and he's like, did the actual address? He's like, really weird things have been happening with you like this. Did you look at the email address? And it was really Nikki
Pinterest.
at Pinterest.com. And I went, Shazam. Okay, I'm in, Nikki from Pinterest. And I was actually still working at the agency. And she's like, we're out in San Francisco. And I think it's nice that you are basically ending your workday when I'm going, I don't know how to get all this done, or I'm going to have all this extra work done. And I don't want to stay until midnight anymore.
Of
So if
course.
you want to work while you're on your train ride home and make some pins for us, I can go to spin class, she says. And then when I'm back from spin class, I can review it and then you can tweak it and we're done. And I went, okay,
Why not?
good for me. So, and she liked the fact that I understood brand standards, which,
Yeah.
I think a lot of brands, when they first got on Pinterest, they didn't understand that you couldn't be really super slick. Like you couldn't have that magazine type graphic design with beautiful typography. It had to be, the fruit bowl of colors with, Comic Sans type and
Mhm.
just all over the place kind of wackadoo stuff. And it's because it felt approachable. So, you have people like Weight Watchers was one of the clients that I worked on right away because I knew their brand standards. And Nikki was like, this is amazing that all their
Yes.
fonts and everything. This is perfect. She's like, just do this. And I would, I could turn them and like, or I'd be like, okay, here you go. And she's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal. It worked out really well. But yeah, she was my into Pinterest. And I worked on and off for Pinterest for probably about 2 years. And when I got laid off, they wanted to hire me full time down in the city. They have a small satellite
Uh-huh.
location there. And I was just like, I really think I want to do this bloggery thing. I don't want to work down in the city anymore.
Yes.
So I passed, but just did the freelance. They've now since kind of farmed out a lot of it overseas, all
Oh,
of the extra like that kind of work. But they have a full, I started there. It was called the Pin Factory at the time. Now it's called the Studio. But the Pin Factory was me, Nikki, and it was a guy who used to work at Instagram, I think. And he's not there anymore. And now it's somebody else. But now it has a full internal ad agency is what they have.
oh,
So it went from 5 brands who were just initially getting onboarded to tens of thousands of brands now that come in and they basically pitch them every month and say, this is what we're seeing as a trend, or this is what we're focused on. Like if it's Super Bowl or Valentine's Day, or, those people are going to be looking on Pinterest for ideas for, say, appetizers. And they say, we'll put you into the feed and promote your pins, and we will create them for you. We will create this whole campaign for you. We'll go by your brand standards and we'll push it out. You don't have to do anything. So this is where my love-hate relationship comes in with them, because they're kind of telling content creators, don't add a logo. Make sure it's beautiful. Make sure it's keyworded properly. Make sure there's always new content. We want new content. Don't repin your old content. But I'm going, wait, you're telling the brands though that we have to do text overlay. There has to be a call to action. There has to be a reason to click on that pin and not just save it. They want people on the platform to stay. And when they
Yeah,
want people to stay on the platform, you can't have them clicking off and going to houseofhipsters.com to go see a room.
yeah.
So you're saving beautiful photos of rooms for inspiration, but unless you have like, I've totally changed how I do things now. I am way more horsey on it. I am not, like very beautiful type and very like it's look at me, because that's what the brands are doing. And I'm competing against those brands for eyeballs.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember the time that Pinterest, before when it first started, they are allowing the affiliate links. And then they said that no affiliate links, no anything. Anyone who is on the platform stays on the platform. We don't allow them. Then I think they see that it's not a good strategy. And now they started allowing affiliate links or your links to your website. But still, I mean, it's a hard relationship, as you said.
Yeah, it got really contentious for a while, and then they said, okay, we're going to push out this new thing called, they call them story pins, now they're called idea pins, and those pins don't actually have a link to them at all. But
Yeah.
when they first came out, if you published an idea pin or a story pin at the time, you would get 30,000 eyeballs on it within 10 minutes. Like,
Oh my
it
God.
was out of this world. So we said, okay, how can we still get people to at least type in houseofhipsters.com to come over to my site to see what I'm posting here? Because
Yeah.
there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
So we tried to, change that a bit, and now it's like slowly come down, but still the reach on an idea pin is way more than anything for a regular static pin. A static pin I can push out and, for a whole week, I might get one view on it versus an idea pin where, yeah.
Oh
I mean, they're a public company. They have shareholders to answer to, and the brands are what's bringing in that money. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the general problem. Almost all platforms started from scratch, and they allowed the little ones, the small guys or gals, get into it and just become an influencer. But then, of course, it's always the same way. Big guys come in to the place and they just destroy everything. The small guys, I mean, the small guys created the system, but then the big guys come and eat it. I don't know what to say. It's not fair, but unfortunately, that's the story. And there will be another platform other than TikTok. So I don't know how it's going to be. But I mean, when we think that Facebook is the one, then we have Instagram, and Instagram the one, then we have TikTok. And who knows? I don't know. But your, of course, marketing background and the way you see things systematically makes a difference. I think that's one of your secret sauce for success.
You
Really.
definitely have to figure out that, okay, this is how I'm going to use this. And how much time do I want to put into this one? Right now, I actually hired someone to kind of help me out on Pinterest, because it is one of those kind of love-hate relationships with it. And when I don't see something, I get a little frustrated with it. And I just kind of shut down and I'm like, I don't want to use this. But I have signed with a talent agency, and they're the ones who, find me work. And they're like, you have to use Pinterest. And I'm like, but I hate it. And they're like, find someone to do it for you then.
Yeah, totally. I mean, because your daily life must be very busy because it's not easy to create content for different platforms. That's what I want to ask you. I mean, Instagram is, as we talk, it's beauty, aesthetic, and this stylish thing. And what TikTok is for learning or for dancing. So how do you I don't know, how do you make all those content for different channels?
I kind of fake it till I make it.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I mean, I want to tell you that I have a content calendar full of things, and I do, to a degree. It's loose. So for me to like sit down and say, okay, these are my tasks and check, like that just doesn't work. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. I'm gonna go play with pillows today. And that's me. So I figured out I use Trello. I don't know if you've ever used Trello, but I love Trello because it's kind of visual, and it allows me to kind of move those cards around and organize. So that helps me go, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on for this week. And I can pick like one of the 10 topics, and I say, okay, how do I take this one topic and create a blog post and push that out into video, and then also take stills for it. And it's kind of like the blog kind of takes care of the Pinterest part. The video also kind of takes care of the Pinterest part, because I can have like different slides, and they have carousels, and it's all this different content that I'm pushing back over to my blog. And then I'll take one or two photos from that blog post, and I'll post that. So it all kind of goes back to my blog, where that's my home base. It's the one thing that I can control. I don't have to fight with an algorithm. Except for SEO. But it's that one thing that I do control. Have full control over what I'm going to push out and what I want to talk about, and how I want to depict it, and how much I want to work.
Still, I mean, this is not an easy task. Let's say decided to go on one topic, and then creating content and also video. How long does it take, for example?
A blog post will usually, for me to I'll usually outline it, and I kind of have a day. So I try to time block myself. So I go, okay, these are the blog posts that I want to write, and I'll just kind of outline those things. And if one kind of catches, like my attention most, that's the one I'll like lean towards. And I go and start, just writing. And then I'm like, okay, now I have this loose kind of format here. Now let's go shoot it, which that means I have to go clean a room. The DIYs are great because I don't have to clean a room. So if I can, like, I'm getting ready to post this, like, how to rewire an old lamp thing, which I had already done on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the stills from that video, and I do it all on my camera, or all on my phone, on my camera, in my phone, instead of within the app. That I think helps me a lot, because that allows me to reuse that content. As long as I don't paint a room or make it really drastically different. And then I'm like, okay, I've done this like thing for a lamp, and this corner is clean. Now should we do like how to style this thing with books, or maybe it's my favorite books, and then that's my photo of that corner with the lamp, and I can link back. If you missed this, rewiring an old lamp, click on that for SEO, and then you can go back to this. So it kind of like, I have like my project organizer list of things to do, so that it does kind of fall into place organically, but it is keeping a lot of things in my brain kind of going out all the time. And because I work from home, I just never stop.
It's just the systematic way of thinking and strategically thinking makes a difference, because if you know, let's say to do your job, you know, I'm gonna do it. I can't because it's just, you know, you are so organized in your mind and you know how to form it. And so I really admire
Well, it's all about
your,
repurposing that content. It really is. Like, that's the only way to survive when you have so many different platforms. There's a lot of like just TikTokers out there that have now gone viral. Like I did that one time. They got a bunch of Instagram followers, which for someone that's like me, that's been in the game for so long, to go, how do you have more followers than I do? And you have a post. I'm like, and yeah, that's another thing that we're all dealing with now, is the old school bloggers versus the new TikTok, Instagram influencers.
yeah,
They've had this overnight success, and now we're competing with them for brand campaigns. And
true.
yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of them said, I'm going to let go of my blog and just keep going. I mean,
Yeah,
every time I
so many
talk to
of
my
them.
agents, she's like, focus on TikTok, focus on reels, focus on this, focus on the growth, forget the blog. And I'm like, I can't forget
No,
the blog.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, no, no. So I come to the famous SEO part our conversation. What are you thinking about the impacts of social media on SEO? You know, is there any different, and also is there any difference among those social media channels? I think you partly answered this question during our conversation, but if you have any, you know, a few highlight points, just can you give us a sense of it?
Yeah. Um, I say this in our group sometimes on Clubhouse, and I think,
Yes.
sometimes I'm a little poo-pooed as,
No.
oh, it's
No.
just, it's just Instagram. And I'm like, no, 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 it's becoming this its own little visual search engine. Someone who doesn't have a lot of followers, I teach this every once in a while on how to, gain followers, or how to, use Instagram for your business.
Yeah.
And I always say, you don't have to be a huge um a huge, you don't have to have this huge following anymore to have people find you and get business for it. So
Yeah.
it's not about the following, it's about the people that are following you. So even if you have 100 followers, if there are 100 followers that are all 100% engaged with you,
Yeah.
that is where you're going to grow. And I'm like, and I'm going to get my phone up so I say it properly, and just look at my thing. So in my account name, I have my name, House of Hairs, but house is in there, and I'm home decor. So
Uh-huh.
there's a keyword in there. And then in my name, it says Kyla, home decor and interiors.
I
So
see.
there's more
Interior.
keywords in
Yeah.
there. Then in my title, I chose home decor. There's another keyword in there. Then in my bio,
Ah,
it says interior designer, home decor, corners of my home, style tips, inspiring, and Chicago. So all of those things are things that lead to getting found in the search. And before,
yes.
you used to search, it would come up with either a hashtag or an account, right? Now it's
Uh-huh.
coming up with keywords. It started doing that probably early last year. It started coming
Ah,
out with keywords. So if you typed in interior design, it would bring up all the interior design photos that were recently tagged.
uh-huh.
And you could search either by recent or by top. Even if you had a small account, you could still come up to the top if it was the most appropriate. So if you looked at the caption then, and it started talking about an interior designer in Chicago, blah, 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 that would come up. And then you would scroll kind of halfway down your screen, and it would have another suggestion. It would say, you're looking for, interior designers in Chicago. So, or you're in Chicago. So it would give me that keyword search of interior design Chicago. Do you want to look at this? You'd say yes. It was a girl who had 20 followers, and she was the first one.
Oh,
And
oh,
I'm like,
really?
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's unexpected. And yeah, we know that Instagram Reels allow put some link on your post, and they are evolving in a way. They
Yeah.
try to find other ways, because otherwise TikTok will is already a phenomena, and it will grow up more than, and it's a kind of a real estate. So
Yeah.
they don't want to share the eyeballs that they have got.
Yep. YouTube is my next one that I want to tackle. I kind of steered away from it because everything was the more horizontal for long form video, and long form video just takes so long to do.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
now they have the shorts. So I'm like, I can repurpose my
Yes.
TikToks and my reels, as long as I take the music out, and I can repurpose those and do my voiceover all in shorts. And if I use SEO properly, I can get that to show up on Google then.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube videos are more important, getting more and more important. And with this, when you type something, Google, for every keyword that you type, Google has a different way of providing the search results. Sometimes they put videos because I'm sure they have the data, and they know that for that search, people are looking for videos. And for another search, people looking for like carousels, or ideas, or recipes. It's just
Yep.
very dynamic. So it's all changing. Everything is changing so fast. Of course, I mean, it's really difficult for a marketer to just, control everything, because it's impossible.
It's
But what we
impossible.
can do is, as in my own recipe, is when you see things too big, you just feel like, no, I can't do that. But when you put them into small pieces and you say to yourself, baby steps, I'm going to go with baby steps. It doesn't really matter how long does it take, but I just want to do it. And as long as you go with the baby steps, you don't push yourself, or stress out, or I don't know. It makes it doable.
Yeah.
Search engine optimization is really, really challenging and competitive, and people are spending tons of money on it right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I really admire your approach, and the way you presenting yourself, your brand name on different social media channels, and just working very systematic. So,
Thank you. I need you to be like my hype girl in my corner every day.
oh my God, I'm ready, girl.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The group really has I keep going back to our little, clubhouse group, and I call it little, and it's not a little group. Like there's half the time there's 500-600 people
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
listening to you guys. And I'm always sitting there. That is my time. Sometimes I feel bad because I'm not listening as closely as maybe I should. Like if I see a blogger pop up, I'm like, oh, I gotta listen.
Yeah, no, I
But
understand that.
say, oh, that's my social media. I'm like, oh, but that's my time. So I use that hour and a half as my time block to work on my site. And I think that's probably, if I had any regrets as far as blogging, it would be that I did not, because it was a hobby, I did not pay attention to SEO as much as I should have. And I'm
But
paying
right
for it
now,
dearly.
it changed, completely changed. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's strong, and it will grow stronger, because the point is you are passionate about what you are doing, and you hold of it. So that brings you the powerful results. I don't think that there will be any more problem. I mean, look at you. Without SEO, you did lots of things, and with SEO, even you are growing more and more. So I think that's a lesson.
Well, I have to give like major props to Rob and Joshua. Joshua, especially, he gave me a site audit, and it was funny. Like I think it was me and someone else. Maybe it was Jenny. Do you remember Jenny? She hasn't been in the room for a while, but I think maybe it was Jenny. I can't remember, but he was like, if you guys want to, like a mini site audit, I'm happy to do that. I'm like, yes, please, because I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about. But yes. And that one was, I think he was really surprised at how large my site was. He was like,
Oh
holy
my God.
moly. I'm like, I've been doing this since 13. And he was like, do you understand how many broken links you have? I literally last night finished all of the broken links. And I've been
Oh,
working on that since what? When did I join our group? I think in May, and then probably in like July is when Joshua did that. It's
oh,
been like this labor of love.
oh, totally. SEO is labor of love, and also blogs are labor of love because you put your soul and your tears and everything on it, and you enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
and you create something beautiful. It's just so satisfying.
What's
I
even more satisfying though is like fully fix and doing the fixes that like Joshua had said, or that you had said, or that Karen Tierney had said, or Rob said like this is what you have to do, or focus on this or focus on that, because I was focused so much on speed at the time, and I'm like, I know my site is really slow, and they're like, no, don't think of that. Do
yeah.
descriptions, do the internal linking, do this. And now seeing it almost like 7 months later, 8 months later, and knowing what I did with it, knowing kind of where it's at now, and seeing results from it,
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
really worth it. Like it's worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And with the clubhouse room, I take the show notes afterwards. And it was a great time for me to learn what I'm missing, or to learn something that I really don't know or have no idea. And it just makes it, very catalog or categorized. And if I need to go and check out, hey, what did we talk about this issue? Oh, yes, these are the steps that I have to follow. So that's really a great place to learn for everybody.
Yeah, and
Just,
there's so many just even small things where you're going, oh, I have a YouTube video in here, but it's slowing down my speed and I'm not ranking as high as this person. But if I put this little image in there instead, how else are you going to know stuff like that?
yeah.
You're every single week, or you're paying someone to do SEO for you that just knows. It's like these little nuggets of knowledge that are just dropped every single week, and it has really transformed the way I do my business, and the way, like, I've been way more successful and way more smarter with my time, and going back to all these old blog posts, I'm seeing stuff where I go, I could update this right now.
Yeah. And then it's a new content,
Yes.
right?
So I've been going back and doing that. So even though it took me, you're going, wow, you had a lot of broken links. Yes, I had a lot of broken links, but I was also going back into each one of those blog posts and taking all the knowledge that I had learned and said, okay, I'm going to put H1 headers or H2 headers in here. I'm going to break stuff out. I'm going to put an FAQ section in here. I'm going to put a video in here. I'm going to
Yeah.
do this. Like, it was like rehauling every single page from almost 10 years ago. And
Yes.
yeah,
And it's huge.
it's massive.
It's massive. Maybe one or more people in the design niche have that kind of content. It's just mind-boggling. So I don't know what to say. You are amazing.
Well, so are you.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, I can't believe Peruz is gonna have me on her.
Oh my God, Kyla, it's just such a great pleasure for me. So, how the listeners reach out to you if they want to, get inspiration from what you are doing?
Yeah, it's just houseofhipsters.com is my houseofhipsters.com is my blog, my main area. And then I'm out on TikTok as House of Hipsters and Instagram is House of Hipsters blog. There's like ever since when I first started my Instagram, I was like, I don't want people to know about it. I don't want my work people to know about it. So I never
Oh,
picked
yeah.
House of Hipsters. I never picked that name. Big mistake. So I
That's
had
amazing.
I had like some weird little like number with words. And people were like, when are you gonna change it to House of Hipsters? When I went to finally go do it, 3 girls had it. 3 little like high school girls had House of Hipsters and they won't let it go. I have
Oh,
tried emailing them and
oh,
offering to pay for it and they won't let it go. And I'm just like, and they don't use it. They posted like 3 times in the past like 8 years.
oh my God. That's
So
just,
yeah, anyone
this is,
starting out, grab everything. Even if you're like not going to use the channel, grab name.
yeah, totally. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let you go, but I think I have to let you go
Yeah.
because I took too much of your time. But it was such a big pleasure. And I hope to see you soon in maybe another conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And if not, I will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely. And I will share all your social media handles and website, everything on the show notes. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Kyla. Thank
Thank
you.
you.